I broke it. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MMA Advocates. My name is Eddie Law. This is, of course, presented by CrossBonesMMA. We got Dave Rodriguez out of ABQ, out of Dayton, Ohio. Fred Kirby, hoping to be joined by Jesse later on, but we'll find out. We'll figure it out. He's out in LA, I'm sure, enjoying himself. Anyway, all right. So again, no UFC last weekend, but did have Bellator, and we have UFC 210 this weekend. Cormier against Anthony Rumble Johnson. Lots to talk about, but let's go right what we were talking about off air a second ago. Jon Jones, and of course he's the topic this week. Why? Because the 205 belt is up for grabs this weekend. DC, of course, defending against Rumble Johnson. Now, this fight, and Dave, you were saying a second ago, this is literally a ticket to fight Jon Jones. Has this ever happened before, where the champion and the challenger are fighting, or are basically fighting for a chance to fight who a lot of people think is the real champ?
Yeah, it's strange when it always involves Johnny Bones and his ties to. I mean, he was previously booked to fight AJ, fought Daniel, close fight that they had, a great rematch that they attempted to rebook at 200. But I'm really just kind of I'm intrigued, and I'm very interested in Cormier and what he's saying about Jon at this point, because I think it was an interview that he did with ESPN or so, and he's talking about I agreed to fight Jon. UFC 200 was a setting, a big stage. He pissed hot 2 weeks before, and Cormier's point being that a lot of people are forgetting the fact that Jon, was flagged for possible masking steroid usage or PEDs. His case was, he went to arbitration, brought his lawyer, high-priced lawyer, got them involved. But basically, like I was saying, what Cormier is trying to reiterate is Jon did flag. And a lot of stuff comes into question now, where I think Cormier heavyweights are kind of skeptical as far as Jon's past performances. I know it is a whole new era, the USADA era, but it was making up to be one of the best rematches on a big time card, and it didn't happen because of Jon's whatever it was, dick pills, whatever his case was. But they did hand him out the maximum that they could have. So that's why I thought that was a great thing brought up by Cormier, in which his career is and his legacy is forever tied to Jon in some way. So a lot riding on the line for both guys this weekend. It's basically, like you said, Eddie, a ticket to fight Jon. He's still not cleared to fight, but I think it was pretty funny what Cormier said about Jon being in Buffalo, and he said he's not bothered by the whole thing about him trying to steal the show or steal it, because he's basically charging people to hang out with him, take pictures and stuff like that. And Cormier thought that's pretty pathetic as well too. So always love to hear what Cormier has to say about old Johnny Bones, as they had a very close fight, their first encounter, and I hope to see a rematch take place in the future. But in the meantime, big time light heavyweight title finally getting defended on Saturday. So I just want to see a clear change of hands of the title, whether it's Anthony Johnson winning it or Cormier just outright, stomping him out and steamrolling him like last time, and then moving that 205 division forward. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing about Jon Jones, look, again, and we were talking about him, almost everybody feels that he's the uncrowned champ, right? He's the real champ. He was never beaten by DC. I mean, that's why DC gets booed. Forget the fact that DC tries his fucking hardest to point out to people and show, hey, Jon was the one that did the wrong shit, not me. Why are you booing me? Because you're a tattletale. The fuck, dude? Quit snitching. All right? But Fred, what do you think about this shit? Like, the ticket to fight Jon Jones. Jon Jones has all shit hanging over his head. You think people even give a shit anymore? Do you think they just want to see the real champ get back in there?
Listen, man, here's the funny thing, man. DC's got a good point with this. Like, he brings up a very good, valid point. The problem is, man, we love our heroes. You know what I'm saying? There is some kind of detachment we have with cloaking our heroes, quote unquote, with these. It's the same thing with Anderson Silva, man. He pissed hot, but it's like we don't, for some reason. Certain guys just get this weird pass, man. It's a weird thing. But certain guys piss hot like Chael Sonnen, and we never forgive them. And other guys piss hot like Jon Jones, and we just kind of are like, let's just act like that never happened. We love our heroes, man. We love our heroes, and we love winners. And as long as, like you said, Jon Jones is a winner and he's undefeated and he's quote unquote the GOAT, the living GOAT of our sport, and the fucked up thing is, I'm kind of on that side. Listen, Daniel Cormier has a fucking point. Jon Jones got caught cheating, man. That shit's relevant. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking really relevant in our sport, man. The dude got caught juicing. That's a big fucking deal. But at the end of the day, I want to not give a fuck, man. He's our Ali.
Yeah.
He's our Frazier. He's our Michael Jordan, man. He can't be a cheater. I don't want to deal with that. So I choose not to. I mean, he's got a good point. There's no reason why we should overlook that. We should judge him for that, man. That's not fucking cool. And it's something that shouldn't just be over fucking looked, man. You can't come down on Chael Sonnen and Josh Barnett and then give Anderson Silva and Jon Jones a fucking pass when they all got caught for essentially the same thing.
Correct. Lyoto Machida, too, out longer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think Machida was a little bit more debatable because it was like a fucking like sleeping pill or some weird.
Not only that, it was he admitted it. He was like, "Hey, by the way, I took this shit. You know, I didn't know it was banned. I guess it's banned. What do I do?" And they go, "Oh, okay, well, you admitted it and everything. Go fuck yourself. You're fucked anyway." And they banned his ass for who knows how fucking long.
See, and also do not forget too, because like John initially when he did flag, it was quote unquote tainted supplements, and then it went to dick pills. And all in all, in the grand scheme of things, the way we see it now is John was full of shit, and he knew what he took. So he presented his case. He went to arbitration. Not many fighters have that ability to do that. He has the money to do that, of course. He's got a shit ton of money, but he missed out on basically a $10 million fucking payday at UFC 200 is that we know after the fact. So I just wanted to bring that up. Like I said, Jon Bones, always an interesting topic, especially with the light heavyweight title being defended. But a lot of people, it's going to be interesting to see if they back Jon or if they're going to continue to do like Fred was saying, we want this. We don't want to believe that shit. We want to know he's the living GOAT, because very rarely do we have a fighter that is the living GOAT that's still in the prime of his goddamn career. So forever interesting, and always just too many unknowns right now. I mean, Jon could come back and start fucking torching through people, but only time will tell. And I think AJ or DC, it's a perfect way for him to re-enter the UFC at this point.
Listen, let me tell you something too about DC, man. Everybody always talks about, oh, nobody likes DC. What's the big deal? Nobody. Why can't DC begs too much, and he comes off as too, you know, he comes off as too thirsty, and people don't want to like him because he. Let me tell you something. People are real motherfucking short-memoried on how things go with this sport. Do y'all remember when everybody hated Jon Jones? Thought he was fake as fuck? I'm sure a lot of people still do. But you understand what I'm saying? This sport goes through massive ebbs and fucking flows of you know, we all could love DC after Saturday night. He says one good thing on the mic, fucking gets a little spot on the MMA Hour, boom, he's off to the fucking races. Like, this idea that people, the public don't like DC and they never will, they might not be on his side now, but the public is fucking stupid, generally speaking, and they're very fickle. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
yeah,
because it is a little weird, right? Kind of comes off as a little fucking clingy, but at the end of the day, the guy's a fucking quote unquote good dude. I was watching the UFC fucking countdown show or whatever today. Fucking goddamn coaching the kids. He seems like a great dad. He's a respectable champion. Fucking funny guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, real likable dude. And now, what do? We all like Jon Jones, the cheating cocksucker with black glasses on that's fucking snorting blow off a fucking stripper's tit in the back. Oh, sure. Now we all love Johnny Boy. You know, it's a little silly, man. What the fuck? I try to get caught up in that shit. Like, there's so much hype about nobody liking DC. That shit could change on a dime, man.
I was going to say something, Dave. All right. Here's the thing, though. Look at Tyron Woodley, for example, okay? He does great things in the community, right? He actually got like an award in St. Louis for all the things that he does. Helps, you know, goes into you know, really shitty neighborhoods, tries to help people out, talks to kids in schools and all that. No one talks about that shit. I'll tell you what. If Nick Diaz comes back and says, hey, I want to fight, I want to shot at that title, which apparently he's been offered, he turned down for whatever reason. But let's say he comes back and goes, I want it. I want that shit. You don't think everyone's going to be cheering for Nick Diaz and not Tyron Woodley? I think they will.
Yeah, more likely.
It's about cheering. Here's the thing. It's all about backing the cool guy. Backing the guy who's a bad dude, does shit, he does crazy shit. Yeah, he's been in trouble. He's the best. He's the best. Yeah, whatever the fuck, right?
The rebels.
The rebels, exactly. People are going to back the rebel more than they are going to back the stand-up guy. It's how it is. When you were a little kid, everyone wanted to be fucking cool, right? That's a cool thing to do. You back a rebel.
Yeah.
McGregor's telling the UFC to go fuck himself. Back McGregor. Shit like that.
Even bitches. Oh, yeah. They always want to give the bad guy some pussy. That's where it always goes. Good guys first, last every fucking time. So, yeah, of course everybody likes Jon Jones while hating on DC, the good fucking family man.
And look, chicks go for the jocks all throughout high school, but then everything flips. When that nerdy kid went to college and he went to Harvard, he's
that money, Jack.
He's rich as shit. Now them bitches want that nerdy dick, huh, bitch? What up? That's what it is.
All right, now listen, before we get off this topic, quickly, which fight do you guys think is a bigger fight? A new matchup with AJ and Jon Jones, or the rematch with DC and Jon Jones? Like,
damn, that's close.
if you're WME, who do you want to win this fight this upcoming weekend to set up the big fight with Johnny Boy later on this year?
I think DC, man.
The rematch?
You can promote the fuck out of that. I mean, you already have fucking video. You had the video from that press conference where they fucking fought each other and threw Dave Shore to the fucking ground like a little girl. Just get out the way and then started throwing hands at each other. And at the MGM Grand or wherever it was, you already have all that shit. It's easy to promote. You put AJ in there, you're kind of hoping he knocks like DC the fuck out in a nasty way. And then you can put him as this unbeatable champion or seemingly unstoppable champion against the the former champ. You can sell that, but I think the DC Jon Jones fight would be bigger. Mind you, Jon Jones still probably wins that fight.
Dave?
Yeah. No, yeah, I think DC for sure. I mean, just imagine if they rebook that fight and everything that DC is talking about now. I mean, even if he steamrolls AJ again this weekend, he's going to bring up 200. He's going to bring up the fact that Jon tried to cheat him at 200. He's going to say that this guy's everything is coming into question. He fought him a close fight before, so I think that'll stir up the pot quite well, especially if it's Cormier talking smack. I mean, Cormier does talk a little bit of smack. He speaks his mind. He's shoots right from the hip. But when it comes to him and Johnny Bones, I mean, these two guys are forever tied to each other. And I think Cormier said, win or lose, the only fights that he wants is Jon and Anthony Johnson, because if he believes if Johnson is to beat him, that's at some point he's going to have to come back and fight him again, or vice versa. If he beats AJ is going to steamroll everybody else, and he's eventually going to have to fight him again if he continues to stay the champion, of course. But the much anticipated rematch of DC and Jon, there's just something to it. I mean, everything blew up on them last time, so if the timing is right now, in which Jon's suspension ends in June, line that baby up for UFC 213 or International Fight Week, and hope to God that Jon Jones does not fuck up, because Daniel Cormier is 38 years old, doesn't have much left. You know what I mean? He's been in some wars to himself, and he's gonna die. I got to beat Jon Bones. He's got to defeat Jon, and after that, then people are gonna look at Daniel Cormier in a different eye if he actually does achieve that win over Johnny Bones.
You're right. I agree with that totally. He needs to beat Jon Jones, or otherwise, history will forget him. History will forget Daniel
Cormier. I tell you
Cormier.
what, man. I agree with you guys. I think that the bigger fight and the fight that will do more money sells, the bigger money fight is DC and Jon Jones. But for me personally, especially if AJ is able to finish DC, that to me becomes probably the most intriguing fight in the sport. If AJ knocks DC out this weekend, AJ and Jon Jones, AJ will be probably the first guy ever that Jon Jones will have fought with that kind of striking power. Glover has some power, Rampage has some power, but I mean, I think we can all say AJ's kind of on a different level, and his speed's on a different level, and Jon's, hasn't been active and was getting low key touched up by fucking OSP. So, he's not a knockout artist either. Jon's not known for knocking people out at all, even though he's mowed through the best of the best and Murderer's Row. Not many knockouts, a lot of nasty submissions, but that's one thing to be noted about Jon. The knockout power, not there, but it is a different Jon now, bigger guy. So who knows? Maybe he's been working on, some power strikes or something like that in his arsenal. AJ's scary though, man. If he's able to beat DC, that's an intriguing fight. But yeah, I think the DC Jon Jones rematch is money fight. So we'll see what happens.
All right, moving on here to the next thing. I'm gonna put the stupid list. Is Khabib the Eagle? Khabib Nurmagomedov, is he done now? Dave, what do you hear anything about that? Did he talk about retiring? I know his dad was saying he wanted to be done by 2018.
Okay, so let's start with that. I mean, this is an interesting topic here because it involves a guy who's, undefeated, just actually got an interim title fight, biggest fight of his career, pulled out of the biggest fight of his career 3 hours before the fucking fight. You know what I mean? So we heard his fucking dumbass coach trying to fight Ferguson and call him out on Twitter. Come on, dog. Your boy didn't show up to the fucking fight. You took him to a hospital. You fucked up his chances. He could have still had a shot at actually competing that night if he didn't have, guys like Ali Abdulaziz fucking leading the charge around him. But it's really, really interesting because Khabib, I think he was on Ariel's show. He's saying that he's going to make a trip to Germany and have some type of procedure done there. And I think it's pretty similar to like what Kobe Bryant did, like in the later stages of his career. It's like a palate or a blood platelet. I can't remember the exact method, what it is, but it's like a blood spin. It's basically blood doping. And I'm pretty sure that's what Khabib's planning on doing to try to get his body back going to like full force. Because as far as the Ariel interview goes, I mean, his body is pretty fucked up. He's not doing well. His knees are a bit fucked up, I think, as well, too. But it has something to do with like a procedure that many athletes have done, not just Kobe, but you have to have like buco bucks to actually have that procedure done. And we all know Khabib's got the Russian oligarch money, so it's not a problem. But that is a thing that keeps him out of the UFC as of right now. So you could basically, Khabib is 6 months from now, we will not see Khabib probably to the end of the year if he does fight. So there's not even a Ferguson rematch or anything like that. That motherfucker is out. And if he doesn't make it back by the end of the year, I doubt we see him again because, yeah, he's basically banking on this procedure to revive his career. And then, like you said, Eddie, his dad said 2018 or something like that. So when I heard that, I was already suspicious about him actually. The fight with Ferguson would have been his last fight. Say he did fight that fight. But very strange, man. I mean, this guy is a fucking top-notch guy at 55. I always knew that he would eventually get up there and compete for the title. He made it. Didn't actually make the fucking fight, make weight. A bit embarrassing on his part and his team. And it's AKA too, because AKA has a notorious track record of pulling out of big fights, not just low-level bouts, like the biggest fucking fights possible. Sucks that it happened for him, but I think at the stage of his career right now, he's got some medical stuff he's got to take care of. And some in Germany, it's that the blood doping. He's planning on doing that, and that doesn't work. I doubt we see the motherfucker ever again in the UFC.
Wait, what procedure is he doing to fix what?
Well, it's his knees, and then it's a procedure. It's like they cool your blood, and then they reinsert into your body. Like Kobe Bryant had it done. If you look it up, it's the same thing. I think.
What's it called?
There's a couple boxers that had it done. I think
What the fuck? Or how old is Khabib, man?
27, 28.
Okay,
right?
just stop it. Just stop right there.
28, yeah.
20 whatever, dog. What in the fuck are we talking about? They're going to cool his fucking blood up and then put it back down. Man, listen, I'm a big Khabib fan as there is, man. But I tell you what, Jack, I am fucking over this. I fuck with Khabib, but Khabib is entering fucking cyborg country for me, dog. Nah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like,
good point. Yeah,
I can't fuck with him no more on this. Listen, if he's that sick and he's got to fucking slide off to Germany to get some weird fucking blood platelet surgery done, hey, go do you. We don't need to be worried about you no more. But let me not worry about you. You know what I'm saying? That's like breaking up with your bitch and she tries to give you some pussy every once in a while. Stop fucking with me. Stop being around. Just go leave us alone. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be out till fucking 2018, then you might not fight then or whatever. You know, sounds to me like Khabib's got some soul searching to do, dog. You know, he needs to go find out if his body, he's 28. What's going on? Has he been fucking cheating? Has he been cutting weight for so long that his fucking liver's wearing down? Because if that's the case, bro, you need to go up to 170. And I tell you what, I didn't see the whole or catch the whole interview, but I did catch pieces of that interview with Ariel. And at one point, I remember Ariel distinctly asking him, like, well, is 170 an option or why don't you go up to 70? And he distinctly said, no, I'm never going to 170. I can make 155. I've made it a bunch of times in my career. It's not a problem. Okay, I ain't no fucking genius, but newsflash, fucking Khabib, It is a motherfucking problem, cocksucker. You got the biggest fucking fight of your life, and fucking 67 seconds before you're supposed to walk out there, you couldn't make the weight. Now, if that's not a fucking problem, I don't know what is. Now you got to go to fucking, goddamn it, Germany to get fucking, you know, goddamn it, a blood transfusion. What the fuck is going on, man? I just don't want to deal with this shit with him no more, man. If it's that bad, then you know, there goes Khabib. So bad, so sad. Where you at, Nate? Let's do the damn thing. Nate and Tony, y'all fight. That's a motherfucking a quick stop for Nate to get the trilogy fight that all the Bud Light fans want with Conor anyways. Like, let's just do the damn thing. Fuck a Khabib. All due respect. I love Khabib, but like, I don't want to, you know, he's fought one time in like 2 years and now he's fucking going to be out for the rest of this year. It's enough with it. He's a prick tease. Yeah,
exactly. No, I couldn't agree with you more, Fred. You're hardcore on Khabib. I know that. So now that this came up, and I think it wasn't even discussed as far as we've gone about it. Ariel didn't touch about it and refer to like Kobe Bryant or somebody that's like a high level athlete that actually had this done, and it's specifically for his knees. So apparently Khabib's knees are fucking shot. Because you know his the way he trains. I mean, the guy's wrestling bears and AKA. I mean, this guy. I mean, he feels that this is going to probably bring him back. But I mean, the timetable on him coming back and the state of the division. I mean, with the retirement talks from his dad, I don't know. At this point, it's highly unlikely we see Khabib probably coming back. I mean, and if you guys want to Google, or the listeners that are listening to the show, I think the procedure is called like Reginokyne or Reginokyne. I forgot how they pronounce it. And yeah, it costs like $10,000 an injection or so, and it's like it's not illegal or anything. It's just like they use like some type of like performance enhancers or some involved with like when they cool the blood down and reinsert it into the body. So it's something where, like I said, I heard the interview with Ariel, and right away I thought about Kobe Bryant. So it worked for Kobe. Kobe's a fucking guy that definitely takes care of his body, high level. Khabib, man, I mean, like Fred said, he's fought twice in 2 years. His body's breaking down at 27 years old. So it's hoping right now. And I mean, I guarantee you it was probably at the advice of Ali Abdelaziz himself to actually go about having this procedure done. So if all goes well, he comes back. I mean, but fuck, man, his knees are fucked up. That's the main focus, in my opinion. Knees or his back. Very, very bad. So.
That motherfucker's name sounds sneaky. Ali Abdelaziz. Sneaky sounding motherfucker.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Anyway, here's the thing about Khabib. He's not that old and everything, but if he needs that much work, there's a lot more issues going on. Just his weight cut, way more issues. So yeah, I'm with Fred. If you got that many problems, man, just fucking go fix them, or just go. That's it.
I mean, because listen, the reality is, if he's that bad off, we don't need him in the fucking cage, right? Like, he's going to get in there and operate at 60% and get thrown a beating. Like, nobody wants to see that either. So, go get your shit together, bro.
Okay, and also to make this more interesting on notable athletes that have had this procedure done. All right, let's go through them and the state of where they're at right now in their careers. Peyton Manning, where's he at?
Legend.
And how old is Peyton Manning?
Old as fuck.
Tracy McGrady.
132.
Yeah, mad fucking knee injuries though. That dude was too fucking tall for what he did.
Okay, it gets worse. Tiger Woods.
Oh, he was fucking bitches. That's a problem.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He was banging too many.
Hope it doesn't affect Khabib's libido.
That's what I'm saying.
And then last but not least, I don't know if our listeners are up on NBA or so. This motherfucker has been gone for years, but his name is Andrew Bynum, and he had to have that surgery.
Oh.
He's completely fucked too. So yeah, so Khabib adding to that list of those notable athletes, that's some serious shit right there.
Here's the thing. I mean, they take blood out, they spin it, get a bunch of bad shit out of it, then they inject the good shit back in there, and it helps you heal up. Andrew Bynum's a dumb shit. He went bowling when he fucked his knees up. Fuck that guy. All right. Anyway, no, but you make a good point. Yeah. I don't think that. I mean, I think what you're saying is, if you need that shit, you're near the end, and it's probably a good point. You have a good point about that, because usually, like you said, most of those names that you mentioned, older fellas. He's 28. Yep. He's in trouble. So.
And those cats that you mentioned also are playing fucking stick and ball sports.
physical shit
Yep.
too.
And then Kobe only did the procedure upon his serious Achilles injury. So at that point, Kobe that was like one of the options for him to actually come back. And like I said, that's a whole different level of athlete when it involves the great motherfucking Kobe Bryant. And no comparison is him and then Khabib and their bodies. No fucking way. It's so far apart. It's hard to, like I said, it's highly unlikely the motherfucker comes back at this point, in my opinion.
It's different athletic endeavors too, man. I mean, Khabib will be getting kicked right in his fucking knee and getting it stretched and turned and twisted and fucking, you know, and that's just in training with the fucking practice. So
correct.
It's a whole different ball of wax with combat sports, especially MMA, where it's like heavily fucking grappling.
Definitely. All right, and Art on YouTube says these guys are known tough bastards, and I'm assuming you're talking about the names the names that David read off, or us. I'm not sure, but I'm probably gonna go with the guys that he mentioned. All right, moving on. And this is weird because I didn't hear this. I did hear rumblings of people saying shit. Okay, that Rogan said this and that, but Rogan says Conor will knock Floyd out in 6 rounds. What are you talking about? Because that sounds fucking hilarious.
Yep. I think, I forgot who was the guest on the podcast, but Rogan, I mean, you guys know Rogan, he's an MMA guy. So in this fight here, especially if it does happen with Floyd, there's plenty of people, fighters, talk show hosts and that. I mean, what's his name? Your favorite guy in the world, Eddie, was it Screaming A. Smith? I mean, I think he's
Fuck that guy.
I think he's high on McGregor as well, even though he doesn't know jack shit about MMA. But yeah, as far as like Rogan goes, though, Rogan believes that, you know, like Firas Zahabi says that Conor has like that death touch. He has the ability. He's got he's a freak fucking athlete. Plus, he's got the death touch, and he believes that he can hang with Floyd longer than 3 or 4 rounds. Where if he does hang in there long enough, I think Conor can tag him, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, when it goes into boxing, I mean, when you talk like the Canelo fights, the great fighters that Floyd's competed with, I mean, we know Conor's going to probably have a little bit of a size advantage and try to bully him around. But it's really like, I don't know, you put Conor in that position, he has nothing to lose, man. And you put him in that spot, he could be fucking dangerous. I don't agree 100% like what Rogan's saying. I just think that Conor can land some shots and make it quite interesting, and maybe Floyd, you know, overtakes him at that point. Because if the great fucking Canelo, who's been boxing since he was 5 years old, wasn't able to do anything to Floyd, what the fuck's Conor gonna do? But the death touch, just what he's been doing, just the part of his career that he's in right now, it's prime time for him. So he ain't got nothing to lose if they match him up with Floyd. And I'll take Conor in that fucking fight too. Call me crazy, but I got Conor in that one.
Fred, do you pick Conor in that one? You're the biggest McGregor fan here.
I mean, listen, man. Conventional wisdom says that this is Floyd's fight to lose, right? Floyd's fucking probably one of the greatest boxers, quite possibly the greatest defensive boxer of all time, literally. Yeah. So you know, listen, man. If you had one of my kids hanging over the cliff and I had to pick somebody, the smart money's on Floyd. It's a boxing competition. If they were fighting behind a bar, smart money's on Conor. But in a boxing competition, the smart money's on Floyd. That being said, I think there are a few very interesting arguments that can be made for Conor winning this fight. And I think there's a few things that people have to take into account, rather. You make the Canelo fucking comparisons, David. I'll tell you why I don't think that's a great comparison. Because I don't think that Floyd will take this fight with Conor half as seriously as he did the one with Canelo. Because he knew Canelo had been boxing since 6'2". So I think it's one of those things, right, where guys really bring their A game when they're worried. I think this is a fight where you could totally see Floyd not taking Conor seriously, because why should he? And I'll tell you another thing I think could happen to make it this interesting is when the fight happens and they're in there, I could see Conor getting under Floyd's skin. I could see Conor pulling some fucking Nick Diaz shit, laying on the ground, busting a fucking gator backflip, doing a little Hulk Hogan on the ropes. He's going to do, but I think he's going to chase Floyd. And I think all those kind of weird X factors could fuck with Floyd in the moment. And then, Floyd could get careless. And he could get into an exchange with Conor and get slept. It is just fighting at the end of the day. It's boxing, but at the end of the day, Conor punches hard. He's bigger than Floyd. He's a lot younger than Floyd. And Lord knows he's got everything to fucking win and nothing to lose. He's in Floyd's world. So, yeah, man, Conor could absolutely. Would I put my money on it or advise you to? Fuck no. But I mean, you know, the idea that Conor has zero chance and that there's not these weird variables. This will be a very weird fight for Floyd, man. I could totally see Floyd cruising, getting careless, and getting started. I'll tell you another thing. Listen, I always fucking bet on the fights. I usually lose a little, win a little. You know what the biggest fucking amount of money I ever won on, my most prosperous bet ever?
Weidman over Silva.
Over who?
The Undertaker. That's right. I bet on that fucking fight at WrestleMania. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you, okay. I sure did. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's relevant. So wrestling's fake. Of course it is.
Right.
The Undertaker, up until a couple WrestleManias ago, had never lost at WrestleMania. That was part of his shtick and his hook. And he was fighting Brock Lesnar that year. And I just kind of thought, you know, everybody loses, man. Even in the fake world, everybody loses. Is this the year that they have him lose? And it was. My point is, everybody loses, man. Floyd should have left. GSP should have stayed gone. I think that, you know, Floyd might be tempting fate here, taking this weird fight with this MMA guy, thinking he's going to get that 50th. I think the universe might just knock his funny little small ass out, man. Like, it would not be the most surprising thing in the world to me. It really wouldn't.
See, and I heard from somebody today he's a hardcore wrestling guy. He coaches wrestling. He ran it by me and said that this fight with Conor, it's interesting if he loses or he wins, because say if he loses, he gets paid a shit ton of money, probably doesn't come back to the UFC. But if he wins, then he takes over boxing at that point, and he continues to box and make a fucking 100 times more than he'd make in the UFC fighting Eddie Alvarez on any New York City card. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because if he does, Conor runs boxing. I mean, he'll probably continue to try to box. But if he loses, they could still try to pull him for another fight and a loss too.
I don't think he'll try to box, even if he gets lucky and knocks Floyd out. Listen, man, I'll give Floyd this. Listen, as cute as Conor is, Floyd is boxing, not Conor. Conor's MMA. And quite frankly, he's the 155-pound division in MMA. All right? Who's Conor going to fucking box? Canelo? Let me tell you something, Jack. I don't give a shit what he does. I don't care what he does with Floyd. And don't get me wrong, if he knocked Floyd out and then boxed Canelo, it would do all right. It would do half or a quarter the numbers that him and Floyd will do. Boxing itself is dead. Floyd's cute. Canelo's cute. You got a couple guys here and there. But the only reason this is really a thing is because of Floyd. And really the only reason Floyd is a thing is because he's got that stupid little zero next to his fucking his loss column. If he gets beat, boxing dies with his fucking loss, Jack.
Hey, you guys agree with Chael Sonnen when he says that if the fight goes past one round, it's embarrassing for boxing?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd say embarrassing, but I tell you what, don't look good, right? Conor's got nothing to lose, man. It's a boxing competition against their living GOAT. That's their Jon Jones. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, yep.
That would be like them sending over some fucking cute little boxer to fight Jon Jones in a cage. You know, that's like James Toney.
Yeah.
He had some stones on him, but what happened? He got thumped on when he fought Randy. He got taken down and got that ass zapped like that. That was a cute attempt, but that's what happened. Now, had fucking he lasted and made the whole fight with Randy, as an MMA fans, what would he been think? We'd have been like, God damn, Randy, you let us down.
Oh, yeah.
That's some bullshit. What the fuck? So, like, yeah, man, for sure. Every round that goes on, that he doesn't make Conor look like an idiot, pressure is on Floyd in the boxing community, man.
Yo, David's right.
And then you said Chael. You said right.
I just saw a video of. I'm watching a video of Chris Weidman right now, facing off with Musasi.
Yeah,
he looks rough. But you were saying, what were you saying? Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I don't believe a fucking thing that Chael Sonnen says these days, because that guy said he's undefeated at the Bellator presser. So
Okay,
fuck
yeah,
that guy.
here's the thing. You gotta understand. I know you understand. Stop playing with it. He's full of shit. He's just fucking promoting, talking crap. And McGregor does the same thing. He does the exact same thing. Except settle down. Except better. He actually backs it up.
No. Listen, Eddie, you go fuck yourself now, okay?
Oh, eat a dick,
you can hold that. Listen, Conor does not do the same thing as Chael. Chael said he was undefeated. Chael is fucking delusional. Conor makes no.
You actually think he means that?
Well, I mean,
you know for sure Chael don't mean that shit.
I've never heard Conor say that he didn't lose to Nate. Jesus Christ.
That's very true. That's very true. You got a good point in that.
I mean, he's never been ridiculous. What the fuck? Yeah, he always acknowledges. I mean, he slights him still, but he never says that. He didn't know the rule set and shit. Like, Chael's ridiculous, man.
He won a majority decision. He wants to talk about he beat the brakes off Nate. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Right.
That's about as far as McGregor takes it.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't act like the first fight didn't count.
That's a good point. Yeah, but I mean, I agree with Chael though. If he makes it out of that first or second round, the people are gonna start, kind of side eyeing, Mayweather. And you're right.
What if
boxing's gonna be done?
But what if it doesn't go around and then he just stun guns Floyd in like some type of Aldo fashion? You know what I mean? Then it's like holy shit at that moment. That's a holy shit moment in sports.
MMA takes over. Then MMA takes over.
Yeah.
You're talking about
great,
doing it.
Yeah.
You talk about doing it on a platform where every boxing fan's gonna be watching. Please believe every boxing fan's gonna be watching this. If you get an MMA guy and knocks him out, they're gonna be like, maybe I should go watch those MMA guys, see what they're doing, because this is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's why
what's hilarious about it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter either way though.
No?
If Conor does knock Floyd out, I'm not saying it would be a lucky punch, but I don't think that Conor would reign supreme above boxing.
No.
I think it would kind of be a lucky punch. This is one of those weird deals where even if Conor lands it, I don't think he necessarily would be the favorite against Canelo. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. He could knock him out that night. Anything can happen. But, I think that win, lose, or draw, Conor's next fight after this fight will be back in the fucking UFC cage. And I think the UFC will see to that. Listen, if the UFC lets him box Floyd, and make no mistake about it, if he boxes Floyd, it's because Uncle Dana said he could.
Oh, yeah.
If they let him, they will do that, and he will know this is it. We don't give a shit if you kill Floyd. After this, you work for us. Like, you're at least finishing out your contract, then go do whatever you want. They're not going to let Conor dip off the boxing for 2-3 years. No fucking way.
I mean, people are saying that he fights this fight, he makes all this money, and he stops fighting altogether. You think it happens?
No.
It's possible. Listen. That's why I was going to say I was going to say that Fertitta's, Conor's expressed that nowadays, even Dana himself has said the UFC was much more fun with the Fertittas. I know Conor had a great relationship with the Fertittas, and I think if they were still around, Conor more than likely would be booked to fight Nate, or he would be booked to fight Tony Ferguson. So I think this whole thing with the Floyd and that is kind of him showing that, yeah, I proved it in the octagon. I'm your moneymaker. You got to take care of me. But obviously the UFC, the state of with the $4.2 billion, they got to pay their debts, and they're kind of shitting on their stars somewhat. I mean, everybody across the board. But honestly, though, I think if the Fertittas are involved, there is no Floyd fight. It's either El Kukui against motherfucking Conor, International Fight Week, or you got Nate Diaz trilogy fight. I mean, it's a whole different thing. It's Ari Emanuel, and it's Ari from motherfucking Entourage running the UFC. Never forget that. So,
yeah, fucking trippy. Hey, go ahead,
listen, man. I do not buy this narrative that after this fight, look, Conor's rich now.
Yeah.
Does anybody think that Conor couldn't retire into the sunset now? You don't need the Floyd fight. I listen, like I just said, Conor's not delusional. He talks shit and he slights people, but he ain't Chael Sonnen. So when Conor says that he's the best, or that he wants to leave a legacy, or he wants to prove things, I actually believe him, man. I believe that martial arts is a big part of that man's life. And I do think that he wants to be the best. Of course he wants to get paid. He wants to wear Gucci suits and talk his fucking yin-yang too. But I think that there's a part of that dude that dissed himself. He's rich now. He don't need more money, man. He can go buy half of Ireland. He's good. but I think that the dude will definitely come back to fighting, at least until he loses, and maybe he'll pull a Ronda Rousey. But as long as he's starching fools, he ain't gonna quit, Jack. He's fucking young and hungry, and on top of the world, man. He ain't gonna stop until he at least tastes his defeat. You know what I'm saying? Again.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on. Wonderboy was Gunner. Does that matchup happen? Wonderboy was Gunner Nelson. Do we want to see that?
John Kavanagh believes that is an ideal matchup for his guy, of course, Gunnar Nelson. But need not forget,
fuck him up.
Yeah, no, need not forget. Damian Maia burned through Gunnar Nelson like nothing, and that guy still hasn't fought for the title. So if this is any indicator of Gunnar Nelson is somewhat in the conversation of like a title talk, hell fucking no. I don't care if he does beat the Wonder Boy. That is the biggest fight of his career. That's what he wants. That will get him in that spot. But Damian Maia, the Nick Diaz, the 70 division stack, man. Tyron Woodley sets that bar pretty high as he's just a smart and elite fucking champion right now. You got to respect the guy. So I don't know if he draws Nick or, if they have something to do with Wonder Boy, they got to. I mean, Cerrone got booked against Robbie. We'll get to the fight bookings later. But just the 70 division, man. I mean, Gunnar, Gunner's had a big fight before. It was against Damian Maia, and his ass got starched. So love to see him fight the Wonder Boy because the Wonder Boy would beat the shit out of him.
Wait, Wonder Boy beat the shit out of who?
Gunner.
Fuck out of here with that shit. Gunner's gonna take him down and fuck him up on the ground.
Nah,
I don't know.
I don't love this fight because I love this fight. You feel me? Like, I love this fight, but not right now.
Yeah, later on when we need an eliminator.
Maybe even one fight removed.
Yeah.
Like, maybe let each of them take a fight now that's winnable. I just feel like this could be a really big fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, why fuck it up now? What's Neil Magny doing? Rustle him up and give him to one of these cats, and then rustle up somebody else and give him to the other one, and then line up I feel like we don't do that enough in MMA. Like, could you do Wonder Boy and Gunny now? Sure, that's a great fight, but a little, put them on the same card against opposite cats and let them kind of shine, and then it's a great fight. Let's build this shit a little bit, man. Like, I'd love that. Who wouldn't want to see that fight? But not just yet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'd definitely like to see Gunner fight somebody else before Wonder Boy. And quite frankly, Wonder Boy coming off a fucking 10 hard rounds against the champ. Come on, let's give him a bit of a softball. Let's let him get a W. Let's let him get that confidence built back up. Let's let him fucking do a spinning crescent kick on somebody's dome piece. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let Gunner get another finish under his belt. What's Mike Perry doing these days? You know what I'm saying? Feed Mike Perry to the who's he fighting? Feed the winner of that to Wonder Boy. You feel me? Like, build that shit up, man. That could be a really big fight, man.
Mike Perry's just cussing motherfuckers out and probably beating one. Actually, I don't even know if that's true. Probably not true. But I'm with Fred on this one, man. I don't want to see this fight right now either. If these two fight, it's gotta be because the winner's gonna get a title shot. This is a really good fight.
Yeah. It's sort of like title implication, but Wonder Boy's, like he said it himself, he's 2 fights away from actually getting back to that point, and he himself doesn't want to rush back into a title shot because look, he just went 10 rounds with Tyron, and a lot of people thought he won that first fucking fight, but need not forget we did talk about Maia. Damian Maia does have a dangerous fight coming up with Gamebred Jorge Masvidal, and that's one of the topics too. I guess we'll get to it right now, Ed. Jorge Masvidal been real active on Twitter. He's been on a couple podcasts. He's been on, I think it's the Anik Florian podcast, and this guy's calling for a KO in the second round over Damian Maia, feeling ultra confident, feels he's got the edge anywhere the fight goes. What are your guys' thoughts on that, man?
I think he's playing the game. You got to talk, right? You got to call your shot. If he called it right, second round knockout, he gets a second round knockout. That his stock explodes. I think.
Title shot.
Listen, I love it, man, and I'll tell you why I love it, because it's possible.
Yep.
I mean, on the surface value, I think most people are going to go with Damian because he's a fucking monster at 170.
Yep. And
you brought up a great point a couple episodes ago, Dave, when you brought up the Roy McDonald fight, the last fight that Damian lost. Dog, Jorge can take that blueprint and use it. If Damian can't take Jorge down, that's probable. Jorge will fuck Damian up on the feet more than likely. Jorge's hands and his striking is fucking nice. And if Damian's forced to stand with him, if he cannot tie him up and grapple him, if Jorge's able to keep his distance right, Jorge will fuck Damian up almost certainly. So it makes sense, man. He's on a win streak right now. He just fucking threw Donald Cerrone and beat him, so he's fucking feeling super confident. Damian Maia, it's a weird fight, right? Because on one hand, you know he's extremely dangerous in one area. But then on the other hand, especially as Jorge, you know all you got to do is low-key avoid that area of the fight and you're golden. You know what I'm saying? So a winnable fight. He can lose it real fucking quick if he's not careful. But he absolutely can win this fight too if he plays his cards right. If he fights the right fight, he can win for sure.
Yep. And he called his shot against Cerrone too. He called that ass whooping too. So now that he's predicting a KO over the stone cold killer of 170, a guy who's actually probably should have fought for the title twice already, but he's the man to beat in my opinion. We've talked about it a couple times on these episodes of Advocates. And if you date back to like our year-end show, we talked about Jorge Masvidal's inactivity kind of killed him early in his UFC career. Now at 170, we're going to see him fight for the third time in under like 9 months or so. That's great. And look at where he's at. So I indeed think that he's 1 fight, 2 fights at most away from the title. And they better give that man a shot if he ends up starching Damian Maia.
Tell you what, who gets screwed out of this whole thing? Donald Cerrone, because he's giving Robbie fucking Lawler. That's a fucking sick fight, though. That's a fun fight.
Shit, he ain't getting screwed, though. That's the fast track. That's true. That's the fast track back to the top.
Yeah, well, you're right. W. If he gets that W, but that's a hard fight after a hard fight. That's kind of rough for Cerrone, but Cerrone's used to that shit. Actually, Cerrone asked for that shit, so I don't know.
No, he would. It was already previously booked, right? And then they Lawler didn't accept the fight then. So now, in my opinion, it's sort of like, I don't know, the UFC is trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but that's just my opinion, of course.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Verdun wants his commentary job back. If you guys don't recall, Verdun was actually fired as the Kings MMA guy comes down. Verdun gets fired for talking mad shit about Reebok and photoshopping a Nike swoosh on his fight kit. He wants his commentary job back. Kind of a weird one. Jesse joining us from LA. You think Verdun gets his job back, or you think Verdun should get his job back?
Will he? No. Should he? Yeah, because he's probably the best Spanish-speaking guy that is on the roster.
Get Kane in there.
Oh, okay, because,
I'm joking. Kane's Spanish is dog shit. Verdun owns him in Spanish.
I think Dave's Spanish is better than Kane's. That's how bad it is.
It has to be.
Oh, man. What about you, Dave? You think he should get his job back?
Wow, if he hadn't ran his fucking mouth and started troll facing everybody and thinking he was cute, getting fucking stunned by the firemen, I mean, everything went to shit for him after he got fucked up in Brazil, you know what I mean? So that's his fault. And then he talked shit about Reebok. So everybody that talks shit about Reebok, the backlash then comes, and then you find yourself in the fucking Lost Battalion, as Eugene S. Robinson would say. So Verdun, man, book him against Alistair, man. I just want to see that fight happen. I mean, fuck it. That's the fight for him right now. As far as his comedy or his comedy club, and now that he has this whole commentary job that he desperately wants back, he better start kissing some ass to the UFC brass, and maybe he might find himself things go in the right direction for him. So the guy was shooting his mouth off too much, so that's his fault.
Yeah, Fred, what do you think, man? I mean, okay, Fred, would you give him his job back, even after all the Reebok shit?
I mean, I would, because I generally don't give a fuck about most shit. So I'd be like, sure, come on, Verdun. But, that's why I don't got no job in TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, in TV, they probably don't play that shit. When they say don't do X, Y, or Z, they mean don't do X, Y, or motherfucking Z. So when you do it, your ass is fired. And it's not like oopsie daisy. I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Bro, you know what the code is. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have done that. I mean, yeah, he probably deserves it because he's good at his job, and he didn't fuck up at his job. He was just doing some other shit, but rules are rules. And, you know, listen, man, at the end of the day, you get special privileges if you're important. You ain't important. Motherfuckers don't like you like that, Verdun. You're no Conor. You know Anderson.
Yeah,
he's
got to do something after he's done fighting. So what's the guy, like 41 years old now?
He's no media darling, no matter how many goofy faces he wants to make. You know what I'm saying? So people like me in general, I don't care much about this topic. I don't really care too much about Verdun, one way or the other. So that's probably a problem. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. All right, let's talk about this because I skipped it on the topic list and we had to go back to it because it's gonna annoy me that much. Dillon Danis thinks he's needed for Bellator to make money on the pay-per-view.
I joined at the wrong time. Damn it.
You joined at the wrong time?
Jesse,
go ahead, Jesse.
First.
What do you think?
I don't give a damn about Dillon Danis, and if I never say his name ever again after this topic, I'll be happy.
Yeah, listen, it's enough with Dillon Danis, okay? It's, you know, it's no longer cute, man. Just fight. Just fight. We'll see, right? We know we all know his name. That's what he wanted to do. We know. Now we waiting, bro. Shut the fuck up. At least Conor thumped some skulls. You know what I'm saying? Come on,
that's
bro.
the annoying part. Conor didn't talk shit till after he won his fights, right?
Right.
He won at least 2 or 3, and then he started talking shit. Yeah, fucking earn that shit, motherfucker. This guy thinks he is Conor. He's like, where is he from anyway? Anyone else like ethnicity? Because I can't tell.
Hey, did Conor like fill him up in the butt or something, and that's why he thinks he's like got this special juice or something?
No, somebody was balls deep in Dillon.
According to what a lot of people say, he would never acted this way. He never dressed this way. Nothing until after he started training with Conor. Then who knows what happened? Then something changed. Like, is that what happens? Like, what's going on with that?
Conor bought him a Versace shirt, a belt, and some shades, and he became a Conor.
Conor's a cool motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? The young man got around a cool motherfucker, got a little bit of taste invited into his game. He's got a man crush on it.
Yeah, it is, and I think Conor does a lot of that self-belief stuff, like the what is that called? That stupid awful book, The Secret, I think is what it was. That secret shit where it's like, your positive visualization will get you everything you want. He's got to imagine it and believe in it. And it fucking the
laws of attraction.
Huh?
The laws of attraction. If you
laws of attraction,
you'll bring it to yourself.
Right. So Conor is a huge believer in that, and that's he gives that a lot of credit. Dillon Danis must have bought into that.
Yeah, he's a true believer. Yeah, Conor, true believer. Dillon Danis, unproven, but still a true believer, though. But he's got a lot to prove, though.
Work. That's the difference. Conor actually puts in the work. We've seen him put in the work and actually get the results. We haven't seen Dillon do shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though, like, we've actually
seen him do something.
What?
Yeah, he's done the work in BJJ, but going forward, I know what he said about the Bellator pay-per-view card tanking without him. I don't agree to that 100%, but I think it's a fucking great idea that they add him to that card. They got to add him. He's from New York. They got to book him against like Koscheck. Like, I've been throwing that name out there, so they book him against Koscheck. Y'all owe me like $20 or something because I called that shit. But
stomp him.
Man. Why would you?
I think
a wrestler like that, a wrestler that has a weak chin, no doubt, but I mean a wrestler that still knows how to wrestle. I mean, that's a really dangerous fight, dude.
He's gonna have to prove himself. So like everybody's getting sick of his antics. So therefore, the guy's gonna actually step in there, and then the Shields BJJ fight or whatever that's happening too. So yeah, he's gonna have to prove himself. Everything right now is all fluff. He wants to be the king of Bellator. He's gonna have to tear through some dudes and look impressive, whether they're shitbirds or if he starts out with Koscheck and goes from there. I just want to see that guy compete and see what he got, because he's got that Conor-esque kind of draw to him. So we all know why, and it's going to bring a lot of eyes to Bellator. So I think it's a good thing, though. They got to get him on that pay-per-view somehow. They have to, and they got to pay the guy too, because I think he wants a big payday, and it has to be on the pay-per-view to actually make sense to actually pay the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because all these guys on that pay-per-view card, they all signed some pretty big deals. So whether it's Chael's fucking ass talking out of his ass on the card, that guy's going to sell pay-per-views and it's going to pay everybody. But Dillon Danis, that's another plus on the card too. So Bellator, get that motherfucker on that card ASAP.
God dang. Hard for that paycheck from Dillon Danis right now.
No, he's going to send Dave is going like all out for that Dillon Danis hype train. That way, when it fills up, he can jump off of it and watch it derail itself. It's all
Yeah,
good. With Orlando, right?
What division is he supposed to fight in, by the way?
55, right?
170.
Oh, 70. Oh.
170.
That's why. Yeah.
Okay. So let's think about this logically. Like, who would you like without not Koscheck? Because Koscheck is too big of a guy, and I think too dangerous of a guy to put him up against.
Mm-hmm.
Feasibly think that they would like probably put him against. Because see, my idea is I agree with Dave. They should put him on that Madison Square Garden card, but they should give him somebody like a total Bellator tomato can. Some guy, you know, maybe that Green Ranger dude, or somebody like, you know, somebody kind of like the Mickey Gall type guy, like a basic nobody that has basically not enough skills to beat any of these guys, but just enough of a skill set to kind of test Dillon Danis a little bit, kind of make him show off his skills, and then get that easy win.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I couldn't give less of a fuck about what Dillon Danis does or what Bellator does with him. But if they're gonna throw him on there, for sure, give him someone that he can at least be competitive against, right? You don't want to throw him against anyone too crazy. So Koscheck, well, doable,
and even
I just don't know.
See, on that card too is weird because like it's another fight booking we'll get to. They added the King Mo and Bader, but I don't think it's going to be a part of the pay-per-view. It's actually on the just called Bellator 180, and then the pay-per-view is NYC, so it's split. And I think they have Bader and King Mo as like the headliner of the 180 card though, which is strange.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird.
Has there ever been a fight more destined to blow donkey dick than fucking King Mo and Ryan Bader?
Oh.
I mean, seriously, when you guys think about this fight, it's gonna blow, right?
It's not gonna be great or good.
I mean, I can't see him banging it out.
I mean, Ryan could try banging out with King Mo. What?
I mean, a worse fight could be like the rematch of Artem Lobov and what was it, that guy that beat him the first time, the jiu-jitsu guy?
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
Hey, but don't forget the Russian Hammer and Cub Swanson are set to do battle soon. Artem Lobov main eventing a fucking UFC card. Who knew?
I don't know why, but let's just move on from Artem Lobov. All right. Yeah, now I'm fucking tired of Artem Lobov already. A couple more things, and we'll talk about fight bookings. Who the fuck is Bisping fighting? Here's the thing. Apparently, GSP hasn't signed the contract, right? Is that right?
Nope.
So, who's he fighting? I mean, even Bisping is not even sure who he's fighting. He's been calling out GSP about not signing the contract and shit. Is it Romero? Is it GSP? Now, I know it's going to be a GSP. We all know it's going to be GSP. But he's leaving Bisping hanging in there about that fight contract. Now, do you see is there a story behind this there, Dave?
Oh, I've been listening to a lot what Bisping has been talking lately, and he's actually like changing his whole view on his next opponent as he feels that Yoel is deserving of the shot. He doesn't want to wait. Bisping is like, I'm willing to take 2 fights that would accumulate to the money that I would get fighting George. But I think that George wants to wait till September. And I think that's way too long for Bisping to be out. I mean, this guy's in the late stages of his career. You know, the best point of his career. I mean, the guy holds the gold. As strange as things are in the world of MMA right now, but it's just that division getting held up. I mean, a lot of people are thinking if he fights George, George could even fuck up the division a little bit more, as he's not planning on defending the title. Say he does beat Michael Bisping, But I do believe that Bisping wants to fight, and he does want to fight International Fight Week. So Yoel Romero, I hope his phone's been ringing. I hope they've sent him a bout agreement of some sort. He's the true guy that deserves it, with another guy competing this weekend going by the name of Gegard Mousasi. So I think that has something to do with maybe Bisping's possible next opponent. It could be Gegard as a wild card, but Yoel, though, man, can't be denied. that's the fight to make. They've already basically brewed that up back at like what, UFC 205. So, but now that they've already done like a press conference with George and Bisping and that whole fucking the shenanigans there. I mean, how is this fight not booked and signed? And they go about making posters, press conferences, and all this bullshit. And it's been like a continuing trend that they're doing. So if they just announced that Yoel's fighting Michael Bisping, everybody will fucking, no one will argue that shit. That's the true fucking fight that needs to happen. So, and from coming from Bisping, he wants that fight. So I really hope that it gets done. And International Fight Week, the time frame right now, it makes perfect sense. We don't need to wait for George St. Pierre to come back and fight in a division he's never fought in against Michael Bisping. He's got a slate of contenders that want to take his fucking head off, and the guy is willing to take on all contenders. They just got to get that Yoel fight booked, in my opinion.
Listen, I have to go in just a second, so I'm going to get my thoughts on this, then I have to go, guys. But I'm going to tell you what, Jack. I think Michael Bisping overplayed his hand, okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he fucked
I
up.
think if Michael Bisping was smart, he would have fucking just shut his mouth, been the champion till September, got the money fight with George. He done fucked everything up now, Jack. Let me tell you something. Once Yoel murders him in July, and make no mistake about it, Yoel's going to throw him a beating. If they sign that fight, the George fight disappears. They're not going to rebook Bisping versus George St. Pierre late this year after Yoel Romero tears his fucking head off. All right? That fight's going to be up and fucking smoke like a goddamn Cheech and Chong joint, Jack. So, hey, listen, maybe he beats Yoel. If he beats Romero, then he does take the George fight, and I'm a fucking idiot, and he makes double the money. But that's a fucking risky fight to take in the meantime while he's waiting on GSP, which is a way bigger money fight. And I think we can all agree that it's presumably a way easier fight. Hell, even if you lose to George, the consequences are less dire. You see what happens when Yoel beats people, and then you see what happens when George beats people. See Chris Weidman's face after a fight, and see, goddammit, Johnny Hendricks. What the fuck? Like, GSP's the smart fight for Mike, man. Way more money and a lot less risk. But he thought he was a big shot and took the fucking Twitter running his mouth. Sign the paper, George. I'm not waiting. Blah, blah, blah. I want to fight in July. Yeah, well, asking ye shall receive, Mike. Now you're fucked. You got a goddamn Cuban warhorse waiting for you in July.
That's what I think. That's what I think GSP is doing. He's just fucking with him. Anyway, hey, real quick before you go, who's your winner between DC and Rumble? Yeah, exactly.
DC, but low key, I want to see Rumble win just because I think that if he knocks out DC, the intrigue with him and Jon Jones will be fucking cool as fuck. But yeah, probably. Listen, man. As far as that fight goes, I see it basically going like the first one. You know, I think that DC will get put on ice skates at one point. I think he'll recover, and then slowly but surely he'll take the fight over and do what he does.
Gotcha. All right, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, fellas. I'll talk to y'all next time.
Later, dude.
Later, Fred.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's just do fight bookings, and then we can do whatever after that. What do you got?
All right, we touched on a few of them earlier, but yeah, I guess we'll start with Donald Cerrone. Yeah, he accepted a fight, not just any fight, against the killer himself, Ruthless Robbie Lawler, slated for UFC 213, and that would be International Fight Week, where hopefully Michael Bisping and Yoel Romero gets added to that card as well.
All right. What do you think about that fight, Jesse?
It's a good fight. We were promised that fight before, right?
Right, I think, at 205.
So, yeah, great fight booking.
Sweet. What else you got, Dave?
All right, this is right up Jesse's street. Right, he's probably nearby the dojo right now. Mr. RDA moving up to 170, taking on Tarek Safadine. Who knew?
What? Wait, what? They're going to give him a boring-ass fight?
No. According to RDA, this is the fight that he needed.
Why?
From the words from his mouth.
Why? Wait, no. What did he say? Why? Did he say why?
He just wants somebody who's whatever. I guess some sort of relevant 170er to start off, but honestly, if you want my honest opinion, this far out, I got Saffiedine by decision.
Jesse, your boy. What's wrong with your boy?
Not my boy, but you know what? It's a bad fight. I mean, I've been high on Saffiedine for a long time. So, I mean, that beating that he put on what's his name to win the Strikeforce Championship, where he tore up his leg. What's his name?
Well, he just fought on.
Who?
Yeah, didn't Saffiedine just fought Kim, I believe, right?
I believe so, and I believe it wasn't a fun fight.
But
it was a horrible fight. Yeah.
I'm talking about the Saffiedine that right before he got signed into the UFC. I mean, that guy, coming up on the rise, his kicking game is like, by far one of the best at 170. So, I mean, that's just a terrible fight for RDA, I think.
I think Rory beat him, right? Tarek Saffiedine, is that what you're talking about, Jesse?
No. I was talking about the Marquardt fight when he won the Strikeforce Championship. But I'm saying, the level of striking that Saffiedine comes with, I mean, I think that's a level beyond of where RDA is at, especially without Cordero in his corner and teaching him, and refining those techniques. So that's going to be a problem for him.
Yeah, definitely.
He's 2-3 in the UFC. Saffiedine is, like you said, about the Strikeforce welterweight title, and then after he lost to Rory, beat Jake Ellenberger, lost to Rick Story, and recently lost a boring shit show of a fight against Dong Hyun Kim. But like I said, I think Saffiedine could take that fight. I think RDA, I don't know, I think it's somewhat of a good matchup for him, but I definitely see him losing that fight.
I think RDA sees it as almost as a safe fight, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Wow. What else you got?
Also, like Fred said, it could be the shittiest fight of the century, or it could be the fight of the year. King Mo, Ryan Bader, Bellator 180.
Oh, God damn it. What? No.
And it was booked.
What?
They basically booked it when King Mo was concussed in the cage, and then they just ran Bader into the cage and said, "Yeah, we're fighting." Yeah. Basically.
This should be our opinion of this fight. What's the next fight booking?
Exactly.
Okay.
What's next?
All right, Eddie. Your girl Alexa Grasso taking on Angela Hill. Couple weeks, 5 weeks out, I believe. So that's an interesting fight.
Money in the bag. Alexa Grasso TKO. I'm kidding. Alexa Grasso decision. It's not gonna go TKO. It's gonna be a long fight. I think Angela Hill.
It's a cool fight.
I think people are gonna underestimate Angela Hill in this one, and I hope Alexa Grasso doesn't do that because Angela Hill is not a bum. People are like, yeah, look, she loses fights, okay, whatever, but she's a fucking bad chick for sure. So I think it's gonna be a really tough fight, but no. Just a comment on that. But I think it's gonna be a tough fight, but I don't think I think Grasso will be able to edge it and probably take a decision on that one.
I think Grasso really needs to take this fight and really take it away from Angela Hill because we saw what Angela Hill did against what's her name?
Andrade was lighting her up.
Andrade. I mean, that chick usually puts girls to sleep, and Angela Hill was in the pocket striking away. You don't want to get in that type of fight against this new refined Angela Hill. So I think she's gotta fight quick.
Oh yeah, it's a dangerous fight, but a lot to gain on both sides in my opinion, because especially Grasso, because Angela Hill, like you said, Jesse, Andrade beat her ass. She hung in there tough, but what happened to Andrade? She got the title shot against JJ, so it's a pretty big stakes for Alexa Grasso as it's like her second or third fight in the UFC. So, also in case you didn't know, Clay Guida still in the UFC, fighting a guy that you probably thought wasn't in the UFC as well, and his name is Eric Koch. That fight is official at 55.
Loser goes home. That's what that is. What else you got?
Very well, maybe. And then recent fight booking, I think it was announced yesterday or is added to 212. Aubin Mercier against Leonardo Santos. Pretty sweet fight at 155. So, and that was added to, UFC 212.
There you go. Anything else?
That would be it besides Francis Ngannou versus somebody soon.
Anybody at this point.
Maybe Kane.
Look, man.
Maybe Kane.
I feel fucking awful. But if you look, UFC and everybody else, if you guys book Kane against Ngannou, have a backup ready for when Kane doesn't make the fight. And I hate to say it, he's seriously one of my favorite fighters. When he fucking makes it, he's a fucking killer. You know what I mean? But he's just so goddamn injured all the time. It just sucks. It really does suck. Like remember last time he fought, he was talking about I'm older now. I learned how to take care of my body better, so I can make it through camps and take it easier and less sparring and shit. Clearly, it didn't work that well. Oh, also, if you're injured and you want to fight and you want to put yourself through that shit anyway, all right, don't fucking tell a journalist that you can barely stand for 10 minutes, okay? Because your back's messed up. Because you know what's gonna happen? Yeah, you're gonna get pulled from the fight. Came fucked up, talked to a journalist. That journalist, of course, as journalists, okay, or writers do, they run right to the computer and immediately pop that out. All right, they're not gonna wait for you to fight. Fuck out of here with that shit. So,
hey, Eddie, let me ask you a question. Did you see Kane fight live?
Have I ever seen Kane fight live? No.
Then that's too bad because you're never gonna get to see him fight live.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's true. I have a really shitty feeling that's true. I really do hate that. Or my luck, I'll end up fucking going to like Colorado for him against some other heavyweight in the main event in at fucking altitude, and they're both gonna gas out and puke.
I'll tell you what though, I agree with you. Like when he's on and he's in that octagon, he's probably the scariest dude at heavyweight. I was there live for when he like nearly killed him. I think the first time, where he just made him a bloody mess on his comeback
JDS?
to. JDS was the main event against Frank Mir that night.
Okay.
That whole heavyweight card that night, it was awesome. But man, he was just so impressive, so fast. And it's just a shame that I don't think we'll ever get to see him at that full potential ever again. Even if he does jump back into the octagon, I don't think we're only going to see like a shimmer, a shadow of like what he used to be. I don't think we're going to ever see 100%.
I agree. Too many injuries, just too many goddamn injuries. So.
And also, I think I want to run it by you guys. I wish Fred was here too, because this is an interesting one. It's kind of hard to pick one and not the other. Who fights first? Who do we see back in there first? Kane or his buddy Luke Rockhold?
Luke Rockhold. Easily.
He's already back in camp, right?
Who's training again? I don't know if he's a fighter or not.
And also, too, adding to, I know we're all going to probably rejoin on Friday to break down 210, but I remember watching some footage recently of Luke Rockhold training down at a combat club with Henry Hooft. So if DC has any insight on what AJ's doing, Luke Rockhold is the source for that information. Because, I thought that was strange. It was maybe less than a month ago, so Rockhold was definitely there training, so he's spying. So DC, man.
Look, DC doesn't really need a spy, but I mean it probably helped. Here's the thing though, like he knows what AJ's about. So all right, real quick before we go, and we're gonna do what were you saying, Jesse?
No, I was gonna ask you, is AJ training with Henry Hooft?
Yeah, he's training. I forgot the name of the is the Combat Club? Is that what we said?
Yeah, Combat Club. Yeah.
Black Zillions is shot to shit right now, so they have no idea what the fuck's going on. So moved on.
I forgot who I heard it from. Somebody was doing an interview, and I know a lot of them split, and a lot of them will not work with Henry Hooft or whoever he's associated with if they're still training somewhere else. So I wasn't sure if Rumble fell in that in that weird little gap there of where he's training or whatever.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Real quick, I know we're gonna do our show on Friday night. I don't know who's gonna make it, and I'll be there. Dave, you probably make it.
Yep.
All right. So real quick before we go, everyone pick your main event, DC or Rumble. I'll go first. I got DC. 4th round submission. Jesse, what you got?
Rumble. 1st round. Knocking DC's head into what is it? IMG's president's lap.
I would love to see that. Dave.
I know, right? Does Ari Emanuel even know who Daniel Cormier or Anthony Johnson is? Right, that's the question to be asked. But
I'm not sure he knows how to say Cormier correctly.
Yeah, I think what was it? The last fight? DC strangled him in the 3rd round, right? The first fight.
It was like the fucking 2nd round, early second round, right?
Okay. I think Rumble is going to be real scary in the 1st round, scarier than the first time. I mean, he may fucking get close to finishing DC. but probably doesn't get the job done via TKO. I think he'd last at least to the third. Daniel Cormier, man, embrace the grind. It's a big stage for him, man. He's got to deliver. Old Johnny boy will be there. They're already setting this whole thing up. He's going to be there and calling out the Johnny boy, man. Embrace the grind, DC, man. I mean, DC's undefeated and Johnny Bones, so they've got some unsettled business, and I really hope that DC can be super impressive, maybe open up Anthony Johnson, bust him up, and just be ruthless in there and say, hey, fuck you, Jon Jones. We're doing this shit in the summer, and that's an ideal situation for me. I'd love to see that happen.
You know what? You know why I'm picking Rumble? I don't think I'm going to be on the show on Friday.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll give you just this thing that scares me about DC's mentality going into this fight. He says that he's been training for Jon Jones. He's not even worried about Rumble. This camp,
I hear that.
This camp, he's only been focusing on Jon Jones. That right there tells me everything I need to know about DC's mentality. Already looking at us. Remember, guys, Kane's not back in the gym training with him. And remember last time Kane wasn't there to help him?
Didn't win.
He got that ass whooping by Jon Jones. So there's just so many factors. And the fact that they're already attempting to plan and set up the Jon Jones DC fight later on in the summer, you know, the MMA gods are sitting on top of Mount Zions, you know, in their cut off shirts and just saying, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. So
and their cut off tap out shirts.
Tap out, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, what was I gonna say? As of right now, it's 8:35 p.m. New Mexico time, and DC is still, in fact, on the card.
Let it
right
go,
now.
dude. He's gonna make the card. God damn it.
He'll make it.
Yep.
The champ. I'm telling you, he's looking too.
Yeah,
He's looking too far ahead. You can't do that, man. Not especially, you know, if we had a focus DC looking straight at Rumble and only focus on Rumble, that's DC all day. Focus on Jon Jones, you know, that lack of focus is going to show in that fight. And Rumble only needs a moment to put you away. So
I think Rockhold's got the spying down for him, though, Jesse. I think he knows everything he needs to know, even if he is training for Jon. I thought that was weird because, like I said, I seen it about a month ago. Didn't think nothing of it, but yeah, Rockhold was definitely there. So, and that fucker's not fighting anybody right now. So, different, interesting insight. But
because Henry Hoof used to be over there at AKA for a bit, and he has ties with him. So, you know, that doesn't strike me as weird. You know, the thing that strikes me more weird.
Yeah, good point.
TC would let that leak out, you know, kind of dumbly, you know. Is that like an AKA thing now, like to say things that you probably shouldn't say in interviews? Talking about his injury, DC talking about he's focused on Jon Jones.
Hey, DC could break the curse, though, the AKA curse of pullouts. DC could break that curse, so.
Dude, let it go. It's broken. All right, he's going to make the fight. God damn it. Don't ruin 210 for me, motherfucker. All right.
You know what?
He's got to make it at this point. He's got to. What?
I'm sure 5 or 6 dudes to literally carry DC around, make sure he doesn't touch the floor, probably like tuck him in bed at night, make sure he's getting all his meals and stuff, making sure everything's good.
Get him Michael Jackson's hyperbolic chamber so he doesn't breathe in anything toxic. No excuses. Just wrap him in bubble wrap.
Hey, and don't forget either, New York City hasn't been or wasn't good for the UFC last time, so they're hoping that this card is quite a successful show because it was fucking horrible last time, that Holly Holm fight. So here we are, Buffalo, New York, where Jon Jones is from, New York, nearby. So
where did Holly fight? What city did Holly fight in?
Brooklyn, Barclays Center.
Okay.
Yeah, let me ask you something though. That you mentioned the Madison Square Garden. Do you think that Bellator is going to do way better numbers due to the fact that their ticket prices are so cheap? I mean, I went and looked at their ticket prices. You can get in there for like under $100, dude. I mean, I think
better than what? Sorry, better than 205 or better than this card?
Better than 205.
I don't know. How much is 205 make? Anyone know?
There's no way though. It has Connor attached to it though. That'd be quite the accomplishment on Bellator.
I'd be surprised if Bellator did that.
But they didn't sell it out, right? It wasn't a sellout, correct? If I remember correctly, it wasn't a sellout.
If Bellator has Dillon Danis on the pay-per-view, that fucker's gonna sell out. How about that?
God damn it, Dave. No, it will not. Holy shit. Now you're just trying to help this motherfucker out, okay? Jesus.
I'm telling you, it's real nice. When Dave is walking to the bank, after that check clears of Dillon Danis Promotions.
Hey, look, you know what? I'll tell you what. If Dave's getting paid by Dillon Danis, it better be good money, and I hope to God he's getting paid, all right? Because fuck it. I support anyone getting their money on. Do your thing. But I don't buy it.
Hashtag El Jefe.
This motherfucker.
Have like a Gucci hat, Gucci shirt. We're gonna start seeing them all dressed up real nice. Then we know.
You know what I want now? Dave's got to come on with aviators, a Hawaiian shirt, and like a weird haircut. That's what he's got to do. And it's like, and they refer to himself in the third person. I think that would work. Anyway, UFC 205 draws 20,427 fans in New York City debut. Smashes gate record with 17.7 million.
Right, because it's so damn high.
Yeah, but I don't see anything that says it was sold out.
Yeah, you had to like sell your soul to get in that event too. Yeah, straight up, it was quite fucking expensive. If you're like talking basic tickets, I think it was like $500, right, minimum.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. I think UFC is starting to price themselves out way too high for the common fan. They want these like, big gates, but they're also charging the fans like way too much money. And then Bellator sneaks in there, and they're charging you less than $100 to get in there. I mean,
yeah. So check us out. StubHub and all those kind of services, or ripoffs. Those motherfuckers, they bought a shitload of the 205 tickets to where it looked like it was almost sold out, but it really wasn't. So it didn't even sell out with those assholes buying those tickets. But it did set records, like Jesse said a second ago. Those prices, that event set records for New York event price for MMA, I think, or for anything. So. Yeah, I mean, that money at 17.7 million came from every ticket they sold. Was retarded expensive.
But see, here's the thing though. Even if your ticket prices are cheap, you have to bring a good event. Let's not forget World Series of Fighting. They also went to New York, and they couldn't give away their tickets. I mean, from what I'm hearing, they had guys out there handing tickets out to people just walking on the street trying to get them in, and nobody even wanted the ticket for free. So. Yeah, you got to put on a good product, and I think Bellator has a good enough product on their hand to really, move those tickets.
Okay, so
I agree.
Real quick, 205 was not a sellout because 205 did 20,000. The last, the basically number 2 now on the list at Madison Square Garden, Lennox Lewis against Evander Holyfield in '99. That drew a sellout crowd of 21,284 with a gate of 13.5 million. This from MMAfighting.com. Back in October 28, 2016. So, it wasn't a sellout, 205. So, could Bellator sell out with those ticket prices? Yeah. And if they do, please believe I would boast like a motherfucker if I was them.
Yeah.
Why not, right? Like,
I would.
I mean, you went to the UFC's basic final stand place where they needed to do everything. They sunk all this money into getting it legal stuff. And you go in there after they've already been there with their biggest star, and you sell it out with not even your biggest star, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it too, because that'll be a feather in the cap for Bellator, and because that card. I mean, they're offering, like I said, Bader, King Mo as like part of the prelims. You could say anybody like a hardcore fan to say that should be on the main card, but they have some decent fights lined up. They're kind of, they got these young cats that are building up through old names. So I think I like what Bellator is doing right now, and that's why I said it couldn't hurt to add Dillon Danis, whoever it is that they want to match him up with. Doesn't even have to be on the main card. Could be on the prelims, and then it adds to like Jesse was saying, a sellout where they can, show up the UFC somewhat, but it's Bellator, it's their brand, and I really like what they're doing right now. Their time is right now.
Yeah, I just hope that main event doesn't just totally blow, because if it does, first of all, if that fight sucks, that's it for good old Chael Sonnen. Okay, he can't talk his way into another big payday. I don't give a fuck. All right, if he doesn't put out at least a decent fight.
See him again. After that night, I don't want to see him again. If he loses, whatever, he's got to be gone, that guy.
You're talking about the guy who got completely annihilated by Anderson Silva, talked his way onto a reality show, got beat up and utterly destroyed, and then talked his way into another fight. Come on, that guy is always going to be able to talk his way into a big fight because he makes these crazy statements and everybody tunes in and watches. You know?
Dude, but he's but when's the last time he won a fight?
What was it?
Never.
Yeah.
No, it was a Shogun.
Bisbee?
Oh yeah, he got lucky catching that guillotine or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was lucky.
Right.
Let's be honest. That was lucky. All right.
Shogun's knees are fucking shot to shit. So yeah.
No, forget it. This is in jiu-jitsu. You can catch people. That's just what happens. Just leave it at that. All right. If that's it, if that's all we got, we're gonna head out. You guys good?
Yeah, Vitor and CM Punk. When is it gonna get booked?
Never.
Been waiting.
Fucking stop drinking the Kool-Aid, Dave. What the fuck? Just kidding. What are you saying, Jason?
I just gotta say one thing. Brendan Schaub, he's a freaking moron.
What do you think?
If you're a guy that is always talking about how you're an MMA analyst, you're on the cutting edge of MMA, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I have 1 million people watching my podcast, blah, blah, blah. You should know when an important figure like Nate Diaz goes down to Tijuana, Mexico, you should know why he's there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I heard that shit too. He's like, I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know what he was doing there. I didn't hear what else he said, but
moron. A total moron. Oh, they're pit fighting? I don't know why he's doing that down there. You're a moron.
Yeah. Oh, and before we close the show out, Nate and Nick hosting the High Times Award show. I think it's April 19th.
Good.
That's legit as fuck right there. So
fuck
hell yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. See what they say.
Yeah.
We've had to talk. All right. If nothing else, thanks everyone for watching us tonight. Appreciate it. It's been a long fucking week, so I'm out of it as fuck. But you can follow Jesse as for 11983. Dave is at Dave's MMA Brief. Of course, Kirby is at Kirby_MMA. I'm at Elaw31. Make sure you go to reptheadvocates.com. Get yourself some Represent gear. Shout out to Fightbook MMA. Oh, Represent has the backpacks back for a limited time. So reptheadvocates.com. Get yourself one ASAP because it's limited quantity. Yeah, Friday night, UFC 210 preview. Make sure you come hang out with us. I'll send out the link as soon as we are able to. And yeah, we'll break down the whole card. We'll talk about it during, we'll shoot the shit on Twitter during the fights. And then, of course, break it back down on MMA Advocates next week. So that's it. For myself, Dave, Jesse, Fred, everybody else. Shout out to Mike Jarvis, Art Bell. I fucking dropped. Here's the thing. I know you guys were putting on comments. My comment page froze, and I couldn't read anymore. So anyone that was in the comments, I know it was like 3 or 4 people. I apologize for forgetting your names, but appreciate you guys tuning in. Everyone that watches, thanks for tuning in. iTunes is updated. It will be updated again, I believe, tomorrow with this episode and anything else we got going on. So everybody have a good night. Go to Mackenzie Dern's Instagram. You're welcome. Mackenzie Dern's Instagram right now. And you're fucking welcome. Yeah, eat a dick. You're welcome. Oh my God, I should mute you. All right, Mackenzie Dern's hot as shit. All right, good night, Wilshire.